Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning back in. I'm sitting out here on the shores of the Wisconsin River. It's a hot summer day. It's a Saturday. We've got a ton of boat traffic going up and down the river. And when that happens, we get all of the wave action creates nice muddy banks. And that's not ideal for fishing. Normally when that happens, it really just slows the fishing down. Even though it's a river, a lot of these fish are sight feeders, and they just like the clear water. And I think it moves a lot of the fish either out of where they're used to staying and feeding into deeper water, and it just puts them in a little bit more of a lethargic mood when that happens. Or if those fish decide to stay in those same areas, where they're sitting behind some sort of current break, a rock, an eddy, a rock or a tree or something that's creating an eddy, those fish just become harder to catch because they don't know where your bait is. They have a harder time locating your bait in the muddy water. So around here, like lots of other parts of the country, some of the best fishing can be had at night. And it's one of those things where the fish just become more active because we do have cooler temperatures at night. They normally feed well during the middle part of the night anyways, and it allows places like this that have a lot of boat traffic to clear back up. It allows the water just to filter itself out, and therefore the fish just seem to bite better. So in today's video, I just want to talk about what my favorite baits are for night fishing. And one of the things with night fishing is I like to really limit my tackle to baits that I know work really well for me, and just limit the number of rods. I very, very rarely will go out night fishing with more than 4 rods in the boat. And a lot of that just has to do with not getting all of my rods caught and tangled together in the boat. And, by limiting the number of rods you have, the less that's going to potentially happen. So as I'm fighting the sun here, I've got 4 baits that I really like to use. The first is a wake bait. This is a Berkeley Wakebull, one of my favorite wake baits. This and really one of my other favorites is the old school Rapala Fat Wrap. Just casting these out and retrieving at an extremely slow pace, keeping them right on the surface, will lead to some really violent strikes, and has caught me some of the biggest fish that I've caught night fishing. So I always have a wake bait tied on. It just seems to be a bait that generates really good strikes, and because it is such a slow retrieve, it allows the fish a lot of time to locate that bait while it's in the strike zone. So I highly recommend a wake bait. The next is a big spinnerbait, but I really like to throw one that's got dark blades and a dark skirt, and I like to throw a single bladed spinnerbait, and usually more of a short arm spinnerbait. This creates a ton of vibration and just is one of those baits that will ride real high in the water on a slow retrieve and just thumps, just boom, boom, boom. You just feel that. And it's a bait that allows the fish to be able to hone in on the spinnerbait. And again, that's really what a lot of night fishing is. You want to create a silhouette in the water that's big enough for them to locate, and something that's creating enough vibration that helps them track it. It's one of the best times to throw big baits, really, is what it comes down to. And a big single arm spinnerbait with a big Colorado blade, usually a dark color like black or blue or purple. Those are my favorite colors to throw a big spinnerbait in, and I always will have a big spinnerbait tied on when I go out night fishing. The next is a big plastic worm. One of my favorites here, I've got this one. This is the Berkeley wind-up worm. I've talked about this before. It's kind of that swimming worm. It's got a big boot tail on the back. I believe it's 7.5 inches, I believe is what it is. So it's a big, thick worm. You know, it's the same size of like as a Zoom Magnum speed worm, and that's another really good night bait. But you want a plastic worm that's got a big body and has some good tail motion to it, and that's why I like this Berkeley wind-up worm. The big boot tail just really creates a lot of vibration, and it's an easy bait for those fish to track. So I highly recommend it. Again, I'm going to be sticking with dark colors. You know, this is a black with blue flake and a blue tail. You want something that's a dark silhouette, so when the fish is looking up, especially if you've got some moonlight and clear skies, they're going to be able to see a black silhouette above them. So you want to stick with something that's darker. And again, this is just a big bodied worm. Really good bait for when they're not active enough to come up and chase a top water bait, and you know the fish are, you know, maybe in a weed bed. You can work this through really well. You know, I'll go with a light, I'll Texas rig it with a lightweight, usually unpegged again. You know, I'll be throwing this on anything from a 3/16 to about a 5/16 ounce weight. It's a really, really good worm. Gotta have some sort of worm to slow work through those areas where you know the fish are at. The last bait then is a black buzzbait. This is Dirty Jig Scott Canterbury Pro Buzz, black blade, and I usually put some sort of black frog on it. This one comes with it. I'll usually switch out for either one of the Berkeley toads or a Zoom horny toad. The one that comes with it's not a bad frog either. I just prefer those other ones. But a black buzzbait, again, dark color, but it's a bait that creates a lot of commotion, just attracts the fish to it and creates some violent strikes. I mean, any topwater bait late at night, you know, during night fishing is usually a very good call. You know, I know a lot of guys still like to throw a jitterbug, you know, a black jitterbug at night, but I prefer a buzzbait. One of the reasons is it's you know, again, a very weedless bait, and when you're not seeing specifically where you're casting, and if you know you're fishing someplace that has, you know, some trees or it's got some weeds in it, it's just going to come through that a lot better than something with treble hooks, and therefore I go with the buzzbait. I love that bait. So those are my picks, guys. You know, when you're going out night fishing, I recommend keep it simple. Grab just a handful of baits, usually darker colors, and a slow, steady retrieve is one of the best ways to go, just because you want to allow those fish to be able to hone in on that bait. It's dark out, they can't see it nearly as well as they could during the day, and it's more about creating vibration and thump that's going to allow the fish to track it and be able to strike it. You know, looks aren't necessarily as good. You know, a lot of times during the day when you're fishing, the fish can see it. You're talking about using very natural baits, things that look realistic. In this case, at night, it's just about giving them something to find. And those are my baits. Keep it simple. Don't take too many rods in the boat. That just creates a cluster. And you know, on those hot summer days when you got lots of boat traffic, guys, get out at night. If you can do it, you can really catch some of the biggest fish of the year doing it. That's when the biggest fish seem to bite the best. And I hope this was helpful. Those are my baits, guys. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and share it on your social media pages. Stay tuned for tomorrow's tip. We'll talk about how to kill ants. Anyways, we'll see you later. Bye.